Hi guys, long time no see. It's me, and I'm back underneath my kotatsu that smells horrible under there. But because of the kids' feet, not my feet, because of the kids. Anyways, guys, I did it. I took N1. Results will be coming out in a couple weeks here. If I pass that, that will really help me when it comes to job hunting in the spring. So fingers crossed for that. Yeah, so because that test is done and out of the way for now, I want to invest a little more time in my YouTube. So I was thinking of making this video for a while now, and I finally got the time to just get my thoughts out there and have everything written out. And today I just want to talk to you guys about that. So today I want to talk about Terrace House and the whole incident on the Tokyo 2019-2020 season with Hana Kimura. So if you don't know about that, I will be explaining kind of what happened and everything. And I don't even think you can watch it anymore now. Like, I think they pulled it off of Netflix and everything, so I don't even know if you can go watch it. But I'll kind of explain what happened and explain the future of Terrace House, and then also give my opinion at the very end. So if you're interested, please watch till the end. And I just want to extend my sincerest condolences to Hana's family and friends. It's very sad when anybody dies, but especially when someone's so young and so full of potential. And when I heard about it, it was really heartbreaking. So even though I'm going to be expressing some of my opinions about what happened, of course I'm going to keep it respectful and all that, but even though I'm expressing some opinions that some people might not agree with, please keep in mind that this is in no way, shape, or form supposed to undermine her death or anything like that. It is truly a tragedy what happened. Okay, so now we got to start off by talking about what happened. So if you're not sure about what happened, I'm sure you know, if you're watching this video, you're at least familiar with the very basics of what happened. But I'll just kind of give a recap. So there's a girl, Hana, who is a professional wrestler, like WWE style wrestling. She was living in the house, and there was a guy named Kai. So I'm not going to get into the whole history of them two. That's not really important. What's important is the incident, the episode where Kai ended up putting Hana's very, very expensive custom-made wrestling uniform into the dryer with his own clothes. Apparently, this uniform cost over $1,000. It had to be custom-made. Of course, because it's her job, right? Like, that's her thing. She's a wrestler. It's got to be custom-made and all that. Of course it's going to be expensive and take time. So Kai, without realizing that he mixed his clothes and just threw it on top of her uniform, when it was done washing, threw everything into the dryer, and it ruined her uniform. She was livid. She walks up to Kai after a little bit of a verbal confrontation. Kai is just apologizing, and she's like, "Your apologies aren't enough. You're a very irresponsible person. How could you do this?" She walks up to him and hits his hat off. You know, and she got in his face, kind of physical. In my opinion, he handled it pretty well, because he's just sitting there like, "I'm sorry, you know. What else can you do at that point? You've already ruined it, right? What else could you do?" So in my opinion, he handled that pretty well. But she kind of went overboard. And unfortunately, due to this incident that was aired on Terrace House, Hana ended up taking her own life on May 23rd, 2020. A partial contributor to her actions may have been the lockdown depression that she might have been feeling at the time. Because let's not forget, this was like one of the heights of the coronavirus. And, you know, being in Tokyo, she couldn't really go out and see her friends. And she was receiving so much hate online from people who saw the episode and thought she was just way out of control and very inappropriate. And so, you know, if she's living alone in her apartment, and, you know, they stopped filming Terrace House at this point, obviously, just that was because of the pandemic. You know, and if you're living alone in your apartment, and like me, you know, social media is one of my, you know, escapes, where I get to talk to people that I miss, and I get to interact with people that I can't see. But for her, it became the very thing that would lead to her downfall, because these people were terrorizing her on her social media accounts. Not only could she not escape to social media to kind of talk with people that she missed during this hard time, but it also reversely became a place of her own judgment. Also, I do want to add a quick culture note here. The incident seemed to be a lot more intense to Japanese audiences compared to American audiences. So like when I saw what happened, she walks up to him and she kind of gets in his face a little bit. And she's kind of strong. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, but she like works out and stuff. She's probably not as strong as me, but she's strong. She works out. And so she gets in his face and she tips the guy's hat off. And Japanese like, whoa, like that's insane. How could she do that? And I'm watching, I'm like, okay, that's definitely too much. Like, no reason to get up in his face. I'm the type of guy, there's no reason to yell. Like, I don't yell. I haven't yelled. I can't remember the last time I yelled out of anger. But as an American, that stuff isn't so rare to me. And growing up in school and even in public, you see that stuff sometimes. So for me, that doesn't look too intense. But to a Japanese audience, that was really crazy. Coming from the culture that kind of teaches you to suppress all your feelings, right? So in a sense, it just amplified the intensity as a Japanese person, right? So I think that a lot of the hate she was getting was mainly from Japanese audiences calling her, crazy and she's off the hook and she's just a monstrous woman and whatever. I don't know what they were saying, but whatever it was, it definitely played into the culture a lot, I think. So that's kind of what happened. And yeah, it's very sad. It's extremely sad what happened. And, looking back, it kind of was the perfect storm. And, who knows what any of us would do if we were in Hana's situation. But yeah, just an absolute tragedy. Now, as far as the future of Terrace House and the production staff's role in the incident, Hana's mom is suing Fuji TV, the production company of Terrace House, for pretty much encouraging her to take the actions that she took, ultimately leading to her death. So Hana told her, I think it was like a week or a couple days before her suicide, she was confiding in her mother, talking and saying, hey, like, some of the staff told me to slap him, actually. And I didn't want to slap him, so I just slapped his hat off. And so, apparently, according to Hana's mother, the production staff encouraged her to do these things that could be highly criticized. So Hana's mom is suing, saying that was the main contributor to her death, and that Fuji TV actually has a big responsibility in her death. Now, Fuji TV denies these allegations, and they deny that they give orders or scripts or anything like that, or even hints to the cast members living in the house. They deny that they have any involvement with not only the actions that Hana took that day, but they claim that they do not tell the staff what to do at all. They say in the intro every time, we don't know what's true, but as it stands right now, of course they canceled the rest of the season, but the rest of Terrace House is also on the line. From the standpoint of a production company, it's kind of a lose-lose, because if you stop production, it kind of makes you look guilty, even if you're not. But if you continue production, it kind of makes you seem like you don't care about her death. So it's a big toss-up. We don't really know what's going to happen with that. There's no official statement so far on whether or not Terrace House, as we know it, will end. And lastly, the part you've all been waiting for, probably not, but my personal opinion, if you don't care, go ahead and, click away from this video right now. But personally, I don't think that the staff of Terrace House, I don't find it convincing, the allegation that the staff of Terrace House is ordering the cast around. Because, you know, to think about it from a production standpoint, they would be doing this to make the show seem more exciting and spicier. And I think if that's what they were doing this whole time, there would be a lot more incidents like this. There would be a lot more confrontations, when really, in reality, the confrontations are a lot more mild. So I think what happened was Hana probably just got very emotional and acted out of her emotions, which we're human. We all do that. So if they were doing this, I think the show would be a lot different. Like, we would see a lot more crazy things happen. Now, that being said, it's definitely possible. I could be wrong. It could be that they are doing all these things, in which case I think one of the other members should come out and say it.
Kai actually did come out at one point, and he said that the assistant director once casually whispered to him, saying, you know, it's not that interesting if you're just jumping on the trampoline together. You know, when they went on the trampoline date. And he said that the assistant director had encouraged him to touch her breasts during that time, in which case he refused. And he said things like that weren't really rare. And he also confirmed that Hana had told him that she was told to slap him in the face during that incident. But I don't know how accurate this reporting is. This comes from Sora News. I don't know how accurate that is.
Also, I just want to say, if you would have told me before I heard about the news that someone from the Tokyo 2019-2020 season ended up killing themselves, I would have guessed it was Kai. Because if you watch that season, they roasted that dude for like 5 episodes straight. You know, you had like his stand-up comedy that kind of fell flat multiple times. And then he kind of had this thing with Hana. But then, you know, he kind of messed that up. And, you know, there was a couple scenes where they were just talking crap about him. And I'm not saying like all the criticisms were baseless, but I'm just saying that they aired all those times when some members were straight up laughing at him. You know, some of the girls were straight up laughing at him at some time, saying, oh, you know, that's not very manly, that's not very responsible, he should be doing this, he should be doing that. You know, and then they're airing these things, and then the guy even broke down a couple times on camera. So if you would have told me someone killed themselves, I would have guessed it was Kai. So I don't know, man. Like, life is hard, man. Keep being strong. I mean, this goes to everybody, but especially the people dealing with stuff. Keep being strong and you know, keep your head up, because we're all human. And my rice is going off, so I got to get up and get that in a second. But anyways, Jesus loves you, and life is hard. Don't be too hard on yourself, okay? It gets better. And you know, like I said, it's all very sad. It's a very sad situation. You know, I can only imagine how hard it is for the Kimura family, and even like the people that were living with Hana at the time. This is probably something that's going to stick with them. This is something that's probably going to be on their mind and hard to come to terms with. So I'm not making light of it at all. However, I do think that, you know, people who sign up for these kinds of things should be mentally prepared. Any position you have in the public eye, you are going to get criticized. If you are in the public eye in any way, shape, or form, you're going to be criticized. And it's 10 times worse now with the internet, because you can see all the stuff people say about you. You know, back in the day, it didn't really matter if people were talking a bunch of crap about you all over the place, because you never really heard it. It doesn't really affect you mentally. But now with the internet, you just see everything, like politicians and YouTubers and actors and celebrities, and say what you want, but it's gotta be tough, you know. If it were me and it got that bad, I would just delete my social media. Honestly, that's what I would do, because, you know, even me, I have this stupid small YouTube channel that not that many people watch, but I already get like people trying to roast me in my comments. You guys can go find it right now. I already get people trying to roast me in my comments. So I'm just saying, I'm someone who my whole life, I never really cared if people talk crap about me. I mean, do I like it? No. But like, it's never been something that shook me to my core, right? I've always kind of been a go against the grain kind of guy. So knowing that, I just think, you know, I would like other people to have that mentality if they're going to go on a reality TV show, especially when their social media accounts are going to be blowing up. You know, these people tend to get hundreds of thousands of followers on their social media accounts. So there's no going back from that unless you just delete everything and go off the grid, right? So personally, I just think that's something that people should think about more. And maybe there is some things too that the production company can do better to help get that point across and make sure they're getting people who really understand everything, all the ins and outs of the situation and the things that could happen before they enter the house, if you know what I'm saying. And on a final note, personally, I would like to see Terrace House continue, given that the accusations are false. Terrace House was, and still is honestly, a huge benefit and a huge help in terms of my Japanese conversation studying. And I would recommend that to any people out there studying as well. Like, studying conversation through Terrace House is a really good idea. And personally, I've just been a really big fan. It's been a big part of my life here as an expat as well. There's a lot of us watch this show. It's out there, and I would like to see Terrace House continue. If the accusations are true and they lose this lawsuit, then it should just be done, because, you know, it's been lying to us the whole time. It's a fake show. It's not a reality show. They're trying to get people who aren't actors to act. And so if that's the case, they should just be done. I hope that's not the case, and I hope Terrace House continues. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Keep it respectful as always. If you're going to roast anyone, roast me. But anyways, yeah. God bless you guys. I will see you guys soon. Peace out.